It is back to school already. My daughter started today. I want you, if you have an IEP, to understand these basic things. This is an aggressive tutorial because I saw a lady at Home Depot doing a tutorial on the types of paint, and I thought I could do this for IEP. So here we go. This is an IEP. This is redacted. It's one of my clients. I took all the personal information out of there, so I'm going to use this one. But every state uses the same general stuff in an IEP. All IEPs have to have the same general information. All of them look differently. This may not look like your IEP. Your state may use a completely different software. I have never, in working in almost all 50 states, I've been in about 46 of the 50 states, seen an IEP look the same from state to state. But again, they all have present levels, they all have goals, they all have that, they're just different format. If you're going back to school and your daughter has an IEP or your son has an IEP, pull out the IEP. This will be a good time to pause or save this video and pull out your IEP so you can compare and look at what it is that I'm telling you, okay? Okay. This is usually the first part of the IEP after we see all of the identifying information like your name and so on and so forth. This is called Present Levels of Academic Achievement and Functional Performance. Sometimes it's called present level of performance or the PLOP. So you'll hear them say the PLOP all the time. PLOP, P-L-O-P, PLOP. It's basically, what is my kid doing now, presently, not what they were doing 3 years ago. What are they doing? It usually is how they're doing in school at the time of the IEP. You see that blank section right there, parent concerns? I hate that. Absolutely hate that. You as a parent, this is your opportunity to put anything in there that is your concerns. So this is what I like to do with my clients. I don't always do it. I don't always remember, but we get around to it. I want you to write what you're concerned about, and I want you to be detailed. If you're concerned that your child is not reading on grade level and you know that they can get the grade level, put that in there. If you're concerned about the behaviors, if you're concerned about the goals, if you're concerned about something, whatever, put it in there. Do not make it general. Don't say, well, I just want my child to do best in life. No, we are looking at something that you can compare from year to year so you can say, doggone it, I've been asking about this same enunciation goal for the past 3 years. You want your concerns to change and eventually go away, hopefully. They won't go away for everybody. They certainly didn't go away for me, but you do. You want the IEP team to understand what your priorities are. We're still in the present levels section. Present levels is going to talk about test scores. It's going to talk about grades. It's basically all of the areas where your child has a need. So if your kid doesn't have any academic issues, you're probably not going to see too much in the present levels. If your kid just has a lot of behavioral things, then maybe you'll see some behavioral things. It's just how they're doing, okay? But it's not just how good they're doing. It's talking about areas where they need improvement as well. So you want to read over those parts and see, okay, what's going on with my kid? Because this is where the areas where they're needing improvement, that is where they're going to create the goals. So if it says that your kid has an issue and should be on level 2 in reading, then it's going to be that particular section is what we're going to pull from, a teacher is going to pull from to create a goal. So anywhere where you say needs improvement or any areas that is a deficit, that's where you get out your trusty dusty highlighter, you highlight it, and you expect that area to show up in the goals later on in the IEP. Got it? Speaking of goals, this is the goals section. Goals, objectives, benchmarks. Goals are basically what we want that child to be doing from the beginning of the IEP till 12 months later, which is the end of the 12-month IEP span. All IEPs go 12 months, and you'll see objectives and benchmarks. Some states require that they do little benchmarks between each of the goal periods. Some states do not. So depending on whether your state requires it, you may see goals and objectives. So there'll be an overall goal, like Kimberly will get to the level 5 reader by the end of this IEP cycle, so by the end of the 12 months, and then objectives will say at the end of the 5 weeks, Kimberly will be at level A, and then by the end of 10 weeks, she'll be at level B. That's what we mean, like little stepstones, how we're going to get there. So when we look at these goals and objectives, just prior to up above in the present levels, that's where I always saw the deficits, all the weaknesses that we needed to work on. This is where I look for those. And so when I am doing an IEP, I am highlighting. I am looking for all of the areas where your child has needs. I'm not looking at the good stuff. Sorry, I am not. I'm working on the stuff that they need help with. And that when I see I highlight an area, I fully expect it to be addressed here in the goals, or I'll expect to see it addressed in accommodations. Here's another thing. This IEP, I can't remember what state this is because I redacted it all, but this IEP actually gives us a benchmark. I want a benchmark meaning I want to know where the kids started off. And so, because as a parent, I may not be able to understand all of the curriculum and all these numbers that they're talking about. But I want to be able to measure. So if they're telling me that my child should be at level 5 and I have no idea what level 5 is, what level is my child at today? That's what I want to see. And so here it gives us an idea of where that child is. If your IEP doesn't include that, it should be in the present levels, and ask them to include it. Where are they at? If they're supposed to be on reading grade level 5, what grade level are they at now? Okay, can we highlight that and put that in the present levels? Or can we put that somewhere so I as a parent can know, okay, today he started off at reading on a 3rd grade level. They say by the end of the IEP, he should be reading on a 4th grade level. By the end of the IEP, I can look and I can see if he's there. Here's what I get. I get a lot of parents saying, well, I don't know if they're making progress. I have no idea what they're doing. This is the section that you all aren't paying attention to. So pay attention to this section. Evaluation criteria is what you really can't see over here, but it's basically saying percentage accuracy, number of attempts. This particular IEP talks about how they are measuring progress. So you may not see this in the IEP depending on the software, but you might see the same type of chart in your progress reports that you need to be looking at. And it'll say what were the evaluation procedures? Did they log this is based on this particular goal? Did they log it? Did they do data charts? These are the things that you can look at when you say, I want proof that they've been doing it. If there's data charts, can I just have a copy of the data charts? How often were they determining progress? So if it's 2 times per month, then yes, okay, can I just see the data charts that you're looking at? And then at the end, what you don't see is it says dates reviewed, extent of progress, and it'll tell you the dates that they reviewed it. So if it says that they reviewed it in May and you're already in December and the kid hasn't met the goal, then you got some questions. How come we didn't meet beforehand if my kid isn't making the goal, so we could see what we need to do to get there? This one's quick. Consideration of special factors. So is your child an English learner? Those type of things. All IEPs must include this section. And if your child is affected by this section, you want to make sure that this part is filled out. This section is supplementary aids, accommodations, and modifications. So this is what are we using to help the child? What I would be wanting as a parent is to make sure that I have an accurate list of this so that if it changes, they are not supposed to be taking anything out without having a meeting or without at least getting your approval. So if I have a parent that does a stock comparison of the accommodations and things from year to year to year, you didn't include read aloud or whatever. And if the child doesn't need it, then that's a conversation, but you don't want to have this part not filled out. So it's basically things like extended time. All of these things are the accommodations, and modifications are going to be what they're going to change, what they're going to do to change those academics or work in order for your child to access it. Typically after modifications, you will see assessments. These are state and district assessments. So these aren't just tests that you take in class, but what accommodations are they getting for those? So if you have accommodations above in the classroom and they don't transfer over to district or state, you want to understand why. Sometimes they can't, but you want to understand, well, if they get read aloud up here in the classroom, how come he can't get it there? That's what you need to understand. This is the services section. This is a section. This kid is in self-contained, I believe, just based on the number of time. But this is where you see the minutes. This is where we take the present levels at the top and we see the deficits. And then we have the goals that are working on those deficits. When I see a goal, I expect to see services in this section that are telling me what they're going to do, how much time they're going to have, where that child is going to be, when it's going to start, all of that in minutes for how we're going to help that child with that goal. So it makes the IEP process so much easier when we say, okay, here are the weaknesses, here are the goals to address the weaknesses, here are the services to address the goals. We're getting to the end. This is placement, least restrictive environment. It's going to tell us where our child will be. Will they be in general ed? Will they be in self-contained? Why? They need to explain why they're not going to be in general ed. And all of this section needs to be looked at by you too. Lastly, some states have minutes where they record everything that happened in the meeting. You want to make sure that that is accurate. I usually want to make sure it's accurate by the time we leave. So if they're reading it out loud to us, I want to make sure that that parent can make the changes. Or some states won't do this and they will put it in the prior written notice. Some states do both. Hope this helps. You have a signature page where everybody attended. And this is my aggressive IEP tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions.